So
So it's kind of funny.
how does one start a payment processing system? I know like many years ago, it was probably a different process. How does somebody do it today?
Today, I think people think, payment processing has changed so much from the beginning when I first got into this business. I mean, we're out there, you were walking into businesses and some of them didn't even accept credit cards. They were like, oh, I don't take credit cards. Why not? Oh, well, here, I don't know how it works. And you would go show them, okay, well, you have this machine and we plug it into your phone line and then you do this. And then at the end of the day, you press all these buttons and it sends the money. And then magically, today's Monday, Wednesday, the money's in your bank account. Right.
Nice.
So that's what we did. We went out
it was a
and
learning
we were
curve.
explaining it to people.
Everyone had to learn what
Right.
that whole system was.
So it was like all brand new still, 2001. I mean, when I started in 1998, it was the same way. It was like we were teaching people and then, technology started. Today, I think it's a lot different. Today, you could go invent some software, then
Yes.
get linked up to a payment processor, and then boom, you're selling payment processing. You're selling software and payment processing together in one package.
I see, like white labeling the current processor.
Yeah, but not really white labeling. People are coming out with like, oh, I'm going to make software for hair salons, and they go invent the software for hair salons. And, you don't need as much today. Like back in the beginning when we would go out and somebody would be using like a point of sale system in a restaurant, they needed to have this like data cap box or this data cap software.
That's right.
Then they had these swipers and the transactions actually ran through the point of sale system and then out, and then out to the company and back, and all the credit card numbers were stored in this people's local machines, right? Today, we don't use that. Today, we use what's called semi-integration. So with semi-integration, you have, this is the software.
Okay,
Here's your credit card machine. The software basically tells the credit card machine, hey, you need to collect $50. Pops up on the machine. The person inserts their card, adds a tip if they're doing that, hit enter. Now the transaction goes out from the piece of equipment to the credit card processor, comes back to the piece of equipment. The piece of equipment captures the 6-digit code of approval, sends it over to the software. The software never touches the credit card processing.
I see. Okay.
So that cuts down on your PCI compliance and all your and all the things that made it so expensive, back in the early days in the early 2000s. So now you have this semi-integration piece, and the semi-integration piece makes it easier even for legacy systems. We're working with somebody now who has a very old point of sale system. And now we showed them how they could actually do this semi-integration. They thought they were going to have to do this full integration and all this PCI compliance, which would be 40, 50 grand, every couple of years to recertify. Now with semi-integration, you don't need anything.
I see, because they're so disparate and separate.
Right, because the processing's happening in the machine and it's not even being kept there. It's all up on the cloud. So
I understand. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, if you want to start a payment processor, like you have to negotiate with banks because they're going to handle all of your transactions. Is there like an intermediary now where you can go and just say, hey, I want to be a payment processor, and they're like, okay, well, follow this, 10-step process or whatever, and then lo and behold, you're a payment processor starting Monday.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Monday, but yeah, you got to do some integrations. No, I mean, people do it through Stripe. They go to other companies. We offer white labeling for that also. You can come to us. We white label you all the onboarding, the back end, the whole thing. So if you said, oh, I have salon software, we want to partner with Nationwide Payment Systems, great. We get you set up with a sandbox. You do all your get all integrated. You do testing. We give you a Slack. You can talk to the developers. Then you go through the process to certify, which is not a big deal. They certify text transactions, then live transactions, then a live batch, and then you go, and then you're ready to go. So, I mean, we've had people integrate in 2 or 3 days.
Wow. Okay. Because I am familiar with Stripe integration and Square. So I use a CRM called Go High Level. I don't know if you're familiar with it. You probably use it as well. But there's, they have integrations with Stripe and Square pretty easily, but, not like you guys, for example. You're not on there, are you?
Actually integrate onto NMI, and that can be used with our processing.
I see.
So
Okay. So it's a compatible standard
yeah, it's a
that you offer.
compatible gateway, NMI. They also work with authorized.net too, although it's, they don't give you, obviously Stripe probably has a little bit more bells and whistles than those, but it just depends what you're doing with what you're doing with Go High Level.